Most people think Google is a search company, but search is only the surface. Behind the websites, videos, maps, and AI sits one of the largest computing systems ever built. Billions of requests move every second. Most users never see the machines. Most companies never build infrastructure at this scale. What if Google is actually a private computing grid spread across the planet? Google operates enormous data centers across multiple continents. Thousands of servers fill every building. Cooling systems run continuously. Power systems operate without interruption. These facilities process search, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and digital services. The buildings are larger than many factories, but where does all this information actually travel? Google built much of its own internet backbone. Traffic often travels through private fiber networks. Data moves between cities, countries, and continents. Undersea cables connect distant regions. Control over infrastructure reduces dependence on outside providers. The internet appears public, but much of Google's traffic moves through infrastructure Google controls. How far does this network really reach? Inside these facilities, automation manages computing workloads. Software distributes tasks between locations. Cooling systems react instantly to changing temperatures. Backup systems protect operations. Engineers monitor performance around the clock. If one facility fails, another continues operating. The system behaves less like software and more like an industrial machine. But what powers this machine every second of the day? Data centers require equipment, replacement parts, and constant upgrades. Specialized hardware moves through global supply chains. Construction materials arrive continuously. Fiber networks expand. Electrical infrastructure grows. Massive amounts of energy flow into these facilities. Entire regions compete to host them. So who actually controls this growing system? Google manages traffic, computing resources, storage, and network capacity. Algorithms decide where workloads move. Operations centers monitor infrastructure continuously. Private networks improve speed and reliability. Control over computing creates strategic advantages. Many competitors rent infrastructure. Google owns much of its own. What happens when entire industries depend on this system? Businesses depend on cloud computing. Developers depend on infrastructure. Artificial intelligence requires enormous computing capacity. Digital services rely on continuous operations. Millions of companies use systems supported by these facilities. The hidden infrastructure becomes part of the global economy. Dependence continues to grow every year. If this infrastructure keeps expanding, what does Google become next? Google did not simply build websites. It built data centers. It built fiber networks. It built undersea connections. It built computing infrastructure. It built an industrial system for information. The visible products are only the interface. Behind them sits a machine operating across continents. Google may not simply operate on the internet. Google may be one of the world's largest private computing infrastructures.